Good evening and happy Monday. Normal service is resumed and I'm back in the Shire of Tonbridge, Wells. So we got back from Spain yesterday afternoon. Fairly pain-free travel day, to be honest. So yeah, a couple of hours flight, bags and whatnot came out really quickly, and we were home by about 4:30, 4:45. And then we went to Claire's mum's, picked Ted up, had a roast, and got back about 9:30 last night. So yeah, all in all, a fairly nice Sunday. So I'm just out after work, so I've been working from home today. So I'm just going to make the most of the last sort of hour or so of light. Probably try and do, I don't know, 6-7 miles-ish, there or thereabouts. Bit of a sort of easy warm-up now, and then I'll probably just do a kind of tempo-y session. But yeah, it's just nice to be out, having been at a desk all day and then obviously sat on a plane and whatnot yesterday. So yeah, all good. My legs are feeling remarkably good, given that I did that 18 and a bit mile on Saturday. So yeah, I managed a little shakeout obviously before we got the flight yesterday morning. But there's absolutely no soreness, no stiffness at all, and we're 2 days later now, which is really encouraging. In fact, I feel pretty fresh. So yeah, after a big mileage week like that, that is good. Now, you know, I don't want to be getting complacent, but we are less than 5 weeks to go now. It'd be nice to just get a couple of good, solid, high mileage training weeks in again, and then we can start tapering. But yeah, like positive from last week that the legs are feeling so decent today. Right, so just coming towards the end of my run now. I ended up doing basically a mile warm up, 6 miles tempo, but probably like quickish tempo actually. And I am nearly back at my house now. But that felt amazing. That is the best I've felt in such a long time. Legs felt good, aerobically felt good. I felt like I was gliding up the hills. That is a big old confidence booster. So I guess all I can kind of determine from that is that the heat really was having a big impact whilst I was in Spain, because obviously it's much cooler here, shadier, breezier, but it felt a million times better. So yeah, I mean, I know it's sort of only a 6 miles, if you like, at quicker pace, and you've got to add 20 miles onto that, but oh, that felt really, really good. I'm pleased I got out. Yeah, delighted. Good evening, happy Tuesday. I have just got back from London and I'm sat in the car park at Tonbridge station, about to go to do intervals with the Harriers gang, but first I need to get changed. Right, let's go. So I think the session for tonight is going to be 2x200, 2x400, 2x600 and repeats. So just under 5k in total. I don't know what the recoveries are yet, but I guess I'll find out when I get there. I don't think we're going to have that much light either, actually, because it tends to get dark about 7:30 and it's just after 6:30 now, so it's going to be quite a quick session, I think. Ooh, so I'm just over halfway around now. I've got 1 400 and 2 600s left, but it's tough. What a beautiful evening. Although the light is going to go quite quickly, so I think I'm going to have to get going. There we go, all done. So 2x200, 2x400, 2x600 times 2, with kind of steady walk recoveries. Yeah, my recoveries varied between sort of 30 to 40 seconds on the 200s up to sort of 60 to 70 seconds for the longer ones. I was just aiming to get my heart rate back down to kind of sub 130 before I went again, was the aim. Yeah, the last couple of 600s felt a bit tough, but felt alright on the whole after a long day at work and basically having run every day for, I think, like the last 9 or 10 days, I think. So the legs are still feeling okay, which is good. Light's really starting to fade now. I'm sure on here it looks a lot darker, but yeah, it's time to go back and have our normal post-run selfie with everybody else. Oh, right, so that is Tuesday intervals done. Just got back to the car, did a little cool down with the crew afterwards. Done about 6 miles for the evening, I think. All in all, as I said, the session was good. I ran it mostly on my own actually, because I think some of the other gang wanted to take it a little bit slower, but I was I went off and did my own thing. But yeah, good session. Haven't done like a hard interval session for a little while. I know I did hills whilst I was away, but haven't done intervals. And rest of the week I am planning on doing probably about 10 miles tomorrow, probably similar Thursday, shorter run Friday, park run and a warm up Saturday, and then a long on Sunday. So it's going to be in and around, I'd say 60 to 65 miles again this week. So yeah, just try and bang out these last few big mileage weeks. Yeah, marathon training's tough, it's relentless, but as I've said before, like, there aren't any shortcuts. You just gotta put the mileage in and then hope it all comes together on the day. Right, see you tomorrow probably. Good evening, happy Wednesday. So I'm back in the Tonbridge train station car park again tonight, which is unusual for me to be here 2 nights in a row, but I was in London again today, and because it's getting dark earlier, so the lights going sort of 7:30, 8:15, I wanted to try and get out before it got dark tonight, but there is a club run with the Harriers, but that doesn't start till 7:30. Then there was a cross-country talk afterwards, so getting dark, and I would have got home late for eating and things. I just thought, right, actually, I'm going to sack it off, and I'm just going to go straight from London and do what I did last night. So I've got changed in the car, no magic transitions this evening, and I'm going to go and do an hour. I think I said last night that I was going to do 10 miles tonight. I'm not going to do 10 miles, because actually I'd got my wires crossed, but I am going to try and do 10 miles in the morning. So, but I'm just going to do a fairly easy hour tonight, so it'll be around 7 miles-ish, I think, and then get back. Should be home by 7:45-ish, so it means I'll be sort of eating at a reasonable time, and I can get a reasonable bedtime as well. So yeah, so quick jaunt. It's a bit wet, so it's not ideal conditions, but it is what it is. We're into the final, 4.5 weeks now, and I can't be skipping sessions just because of a little bit of drizzle. So off we go. Oh, what a difference a day makes, eh? So this is where I was doing the interval session last night in what was a beautiful evening, lovely pink skies, and now it's horrible. Yeah, the rain has come back, albeit not as heavily, but it's still back, and it is getting gloomy. But I haven't got far to go, so I'm about just under 6 miles, so I'll probably end up at about 7.5-ish by the time I've finished, which for an hour, relatively easy. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take that for another post-London day. Certainly better than nothing. Oh, right, done. So that is an hour easy-ish done. So it was just under 8 miles in the end, which was nice. Felt pretty controlled. I mean, it's fairly flat around Tonbridge, so like it's easy to get into a bit of a rhythm. It's far flatter than up sort of where I am in Tunbridge Wells. So as I said, I can just kind of like zone out, get into a pace and zone out, and just occasionally check my watch just to make sure I'm not getting giddy and that my heart rate's sort of where it needs to be. So yeah, that's done. So it's about 7:30 now. I'm going to drive home, get home for about 7:45, start dinner, and then try and get a reasonably early night tonight, because I said I need to be up to do a 10 miler in the morning. The plan is to do a bit of a mix of marathon pace and easy alternates tomorrow morning, and then back in London Friday. So I'm home tomorrow, back in London Friday, so that'll be some sort of easy lunch run, I think, and then we'll do some big mileage over the weekend. Look what is now pride of place in my office / man cave. So that is my medal holder. So I'm now going to put some medals on it. That's my starter for 10. Boston, London, Manchester, and the big half. I have got more elsewhere, but I just need to dig them out. Good morning and happy Thursday. So I'm just out before work. It's just gone about 7 a.m. And my plan this morning is to do around 10 miles, but mix that up with some faster marathon pace work and then some steadier stuff. So a bit of a mix. I guess a bit of a fartlek session, but just trying to get that marathon pace feeling a little bit more comfortable. Temperatures, they've definitely dropped this morning. Walked out in my t-shirt and yeah, it's a bit chilly, but I know I'll warm up, so be all right. Yeah, hoping the whole session should take me around about 75 minutes. So home, plenty of time to shower, coffee, breakfast, and then get to my desk because I'm at home today. Right, let's see how this session goes. Yeah, I can definitely feel a little bit of fatigue in my legs this morning. I mean, they're not sore by any means, but I have done, quite a lot of mileage over the last two weeks in particular, with not a lot of rest. So yeah, there's definitely a little bit of kind of fatigue in there. So we'll have to see how this morning goes. But as I keep saying, no shortcuts. That's what happens in marathon training. As you get towards this kind of final push, your legs are going to feel sore because you're doing your biggest mileage. So yeah, I'm just going to listen to my body and I haven't got any specific plan. Like I said, it's fartlek, so I might do a couple of miles marathon pace, a couple of miles steadier. We'll see how it goes, but just getting out and getting this session done is certainly better than nothing. So I'm 3.5 miles in. This is not right this morning. I cannot get my legs ticking over. I feel fatigued. Yeah, I think I might call it and just easy back. There's no point in pushing this. My legs just aren't going at marathon pace this morning. Sometimes you just gotta admit defeat. I don't think pushing it hard is going to help. I can't even get up to marathon pace, so I'm just going to come up to the end and turn round and yeah, call it a score draw as well. First failed session, but something's not right, so I'm just going to get back. I mean, it'll still be 7-ish miles by the time I get back, but not anywhere near the session I wanted. Sport is fickle. One day you can be feeling amazing, everything clicking, everything going right, and then the next day it's like you don't know what you're doing. It's just so funny how on Monday on my run I was just saying about how amazing I was feeling, how confident I was, what a good run it was, and then last night I was talking about how as you get fitter, the easy runs feel easier, or your pace increases, and everything felt like it was going in the right direction. And then you have a run like this morning, which I just don't know where it's come from. The easy paces, I mean, it wasn't meant to be running easy, but on the way back, the easy paces felt hard. Marathon pace I couldn't even get up to, and it's just been an absolute grind. Legs, head, body, everything not into it this morning. So just have to dust myself off, accept that you have runs like this. But yeah, it's a big, not big, it's a confidence knocker, because I feel like I turned a corner, and yeah, this is not how I wanted this morning to go. But I'm nearly home now, so go back, eat, shower, and then we're going out for dinner for Claire's sister's birthday tonight, which will be nice. At least someone's pleased to see me, aren't you? Hello, mate. Good morning and happy Saturday. 48 hours after the aborted marathon fartlek session, I am back on the road. Yeah, so I'm running down to parkrun, so I'm going to do a little warm up down there, so say little, probably like 5 or 6 miles, and then do parkrun this morning. But I have not been well the last few days, which explains what happened on Thursday morning. So I got back from the run feeling pretty despondent about how it had gone, and I just slowly deteriorated throughout the morning. I was just absolutely drained, no energy, couldn't concentrate, started getting a sore throat, headaches, and yeah, and that continued into probably sort of late afternoon yesterday. So yeah, that will explain why Thursday morning was just an absolute write-off. And when I looked at my kind of Whoop metrics on Thursday when I got back, I should have realised something wasn't quite right. My resting heart rate was high, my HRV, so my heart rate variability was low, and there was no reason for it really. I'd had a good night's sleep and no alcohol, so yeah, I probably should have realised. But anyway, so in some ways that's given me encouragement. That run on Thursday morning was purely down to the fact my body was fighting something and basically trying to tell me to ease off. So I'm glad I did when I did. But I feel a million times better this morning. I'm about 2 miles into this run. My heart rate's where it should be. It feels nice and steady, it feels nice and comfortable. So yeah, fingers crossed that is just a little blip and we are back on track. So I think what's annoying is actually that's the second kind of lurgy I've had in like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm typically I'm not a particularly ill person, but I just seem to have got a bit unlucky the last few weeks. So I had something very similar maybe a week before we went to Spain, but again it was very short-lived. So hopefully, like I said, my immune system is getting rid of these things quite quickly, and then that will be the last lurgy I have before Chicago, although there has been a couple of people in my office with COVID this week, so yeah, let's hope I don't catch that. But yeah, as I said, it hasn't affected me too much. I'm a little bit down on mileage of where I'd like to be this week, but I'll still come in and around late 50s probably, so still a decent week, but just a slight step down from last week. I've got a big session tomorrow, so I'm going to take parkrun fairly steadily this morning. I don't want to overdo it. My body's probably still not 100% if it's been fighting something the last 2 days. So yeah, steady parkrun, restful day, early night, big session tomorrow. So I've made it to Tonbridge Park, about 4.5 miles in, so I'm just going to do a couple of laps. Probably get to me to about 6.5. Right now, the weather is looking beautiful. The forecast is for it to tip it down, so it's just whether we get lucky and we manage to get parkrun in before that happens. But looking at some of those grey clouds in the distance, I wouldn't bank on it. I lasted 1 lap of the park before it started raining. Clearly this is going to be a wet run now, because whilst I know behind me you can see it looks quite bright, where I can see where the clouds are coming from, it's pretty grey. So yes, did not manage to avoid the rain. Hey ho, it is what it is. So I remember listening on one of the Paula's Run podcasts that she knows athletes who love it when the weather turns inclement, because it gives an opportunity to train in rainy conditions and windy conditions, and they love getting out here. I mean, I think I need to try and embrace that positive mental attitude, because I won't know what the weather is like in Chicago, and if it's like this I don't have a choice. But I can't say I'm enjoying it much right now. Thank you, Marshall. so that's about 4k done. Last k to go. I haven't really been looking at a watch. Have it on the time screen. I think it's just below marathon pace. Felt a little bit tougher than I would have liked, but I did do 7 miles down here. So yeah, I'll see what time I come in at, but in and around 21ish, I reckon, there or thereabouts. So yeah, let's wait and see.
So just back from parkrun and I got absolutely drenched. It is torrential out there right now. So yeah, after the sort of nice pleasant conditions of running down there, parkrun was horrendous. They talked about lightning strikes at the beginning as well, so, and how we had to take cover if there were strikes. So there weren't any, thankfully, but yeah, it wasn't good. So I ran 21:14ish in the end, which was fine. It was around marathon pace, maybe a little bit tougher than I would have liked at marathon pace actually, but conditions were awful. I'd run 7 miles, so I can't be too concerned. So yeah, I am gonna go and get a shower now, because I don't know if you can see that, but I am absolutely filthy. So yeah, had my coffee and off for a shower. Good morning and happy Sunday. So I am going to be doing a long run this morning. I'm going out to Forest Way, which I did probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I did the 20-mile kind of progression in the heat. So it was the one I did in the afternoon when I got back from my sister's. It's going to be very different conditions this morning, although I don't think it's going to rain until this afternoon. It is obviously a lot cooler, and it did rain a lot yesterday, so I think the ground could be quite boggy underfoot. So plan this morning is to do 5 miles easy, so around about 8-minute miles, and then 5 miles hard, between sort of, I guess, probably 6:35 to 6:45 per mile. Repeat times 2, and then a cool down. So it should be around about 21 miles in the end. So again, just to get myself sort of in the zone for just a little bit quicker than marathon pace, but just, you know, not too ridiculous, but it just to get my heart rate going. And this morning I'm going to be doing it with one of the guys that I know from the Harriers, who I've not really run that much with before, a guy called Nathan, and he's training for Abingdon Marathon, I believe. He's got a marathon PB of 2:57, so he's a little bit quicker than me, and he's been training really well recently, so it'd be good to kind of do some stuff with him. So yeah, I don't know how much filming I'm going to do, because I don't know him that well, and I don't know how comfortable I'll feel with filming, so I thought I'd do the preamble now. And then I may do a bit of filming en route, I might not, but I will do a bit of a summary at the end. Right, fingers crossed. It is blue skies at the moment. It is going to be fairly sheltered, but I'm just hoping it's not too boggy underfoot. But yeah, 21 miles, which should take me to around 60 miles for the week, all being well. See you later on.
A few moments later.
So this is the first time I've managed to film on this run. 17 miles in, and it's feeling really tough. I had to drop back. Nathan's flying along, so this is meant to be the last 5 miles at marathon pace, but I'm going around 7:20. Yeah, I've had to drop back, it's tough. I don't know if it's like residual lurgy or not, but 3 to go.
So I am back from my long run, showered, eaten, had a coffee, and thought I'd do a little bit of a debrief on how it went. As you could see from that clip at 17 miles, I was struggling. So the plan was to do 2 blocks of 5 miles, 5 miles easy, 5 miles harder, times 2, and then a little cool down to 21 miles. First block, so 5 miles easy, felt alright, a bit quicker than I would probably want to go, so it was around about 7:50 a mile. And then the first block of harder stuff was around 6:40, but it did feel tough. But it was boggy, so, you know, I was slipping around a little bit, but I was sort of clinging on to Nathan's coattails for that first 5, which mentally put me on the back foot. And I was already thinking about how was I going to last that pace for the next, you know, the miles 16 to 20. So that was difficult. And then we then did the second block and did the miles sort of 11 to 15, which again was easy, but it was around 8:15 pace, and I could start feeling it in my legs. And yeah, as I said, I was in my own head at that point, and I said to Nathan, look, you know, you go and you run sort of your sort of 6:40s, and I will just do what I can. And I dropped back and sort of did a tempo, sort of 5 miles, so I was running around about 7:15 average-ish for those last 5 miles, and then we did a 1 mile cool down. Disappointing, because it was not as good a session as the last time I did Forest Way, which was probably 4 or 5 weeks ago now, with a higher average pace, and it felt more comfortable. So I don't know whether my fitness is going backwards, or, as I said in the run, you know, do I have some residual illness from, you know, the back end of this week that's just making life more difficult for me? Am I overtraining? So I've done 60 miles this week, and I did 63 miles last week. But then if you look at my Strava trajectory, like, it has been fairly steady. Like, I haven't been doing any big jumps in mileage, so I have been easing up quite a lot. So I don't think it's that, although I have been running most days. I had a rest day on Friday, but yeah, I have been running most days. But it's a bit disappointing. I do feel like, you know, Thursday, even yesterday to an extent, and today have been not where I think I need to be to run a sub 3 at Chicago. So I need to have a really good think about the strategy of whether I decide to go for sub 3, whether I decide to just have a nice time like I did at Boston and just back off totally and, I don't know, run like a 3:15, or whether I just don't do it. You know, it's a lot of money to go to Chicago. I appreciate that I've got my place, and a lot of people would be very, very grateful, but when you think Claire and I have probably spent £1,000 each on flights, we're probably spending another £1,500 on a hotel, food, drink, merch, it adds up. And if I'm not going to be able to go and give it my, like, what I would consider like my all, do I want to do it, or do I want to save that money and bank it for a time when I feel like I can? I don't know. So yeah, a week of 2 halves. Beginning of the week, as you saw from my vlogs, I felt great. Back end of the week, I felt not so great, and I feel torn as to what I do now. I'm hoping, as I said, that it is just some residual illness that is just making me a bit fatigued. I think I might have a little bit of a down week this week, so I'm racing next Sunday. So I've got a half marathon race, really tough course, really hilly course, which I've done on purpose. I want to test myself, and maybe that will be the litmus test as to whether I decide to do Chicago or not, or certainly how I decide to race it. So yeah, I think I'm going to give myself at least a day or 2 off running this week, maybe have a little bit of a down week, probably do, I don't know, 45, 50 miles, still quite a lot, but less than I've been doing, and maybe a mini taper for this run on Sunday, and we will go from there. But not the best week. I appreciate you do have weeks like this in marathon training, but 4 weeks out, it has knocked my confidence. So we will see. Right, on to next week.